Hey friends, Travis here. If you're new to the channel, I want to welcome you. And of course, if you've been here before, welcome back. In today's video, we're going to go over my likes, my dislikes, and I'll give some final thoughts on my MSC Meraviglia repositioning cruise that I did back in April. It's been a few months since then, but I took extensive notes and there was a full-on vlog series as well. I'll link that in a card above if you want to go check that out. I literally did day in the life all day, every day of my entire trip. Pretty interesting to watch, I think, but yeah. If at any point you like what you see, feel free to like, comment, share, subscribe, all those things. And yeah, without any further delay, let's go ahead and move right on into the video. If you haven't seen one of these videos on my channel before, I like to start with the dislikes, get the negative stuff out of the way so I can end on a positive note. First and foremost, I don't have a black eye. I know this is a little extra dark today, but that's just my face. I have all kinds of pigmentation, autoimmune stuff. No big deal. It just makes me look, you know, weird sometimes. But otherwise, I'm healthy and happy and all those things. But yeah, for my first dislike, I'm going to start with kind of a weird one, and I'm going to say that there was no karaoke. And that's not true. We did get karaoke the last couple of days, but for whatever reason, the beginning of the cruise didn't have karaoke. I was told, this was not confirmed, but from what I was told, there was some sort of issue with the system early on, and they had to wait until we got into like a certain port to be able to have a maintenance person come on and fix it and all this stuff. But yeah, there were a lot of people wanting karaoke, and we didn't have it for almost the entire cruise. And then the last couple of days we had it, and people were just, you know, tearing it up out there. So yeah, I know that's not necessarily their fault. They probably didn't know when they left Miami, but it would have been nice if they had, you know, done a systems check beforehand so that we could have had that the whole cruise. But yeah. For my next dislike, I gotta give a strike to the buffet. It was very inconsistent. Some days it was really good and there were all kinds of great options on it. And then other days I was getting food that was cold, that had been sitting around for a while. This is obviously a known MSC issue. Outside of the MDR, the buffet is pretty much your only option unless you want to pay extra for specialty dining. So if that's gonna be your only option, then it really should be top-notch, high quality, but sometimes it isn't, and that sucks. For my last dislike, I'm going to ding the port of Brooklyn. I understand this was our first time there. They haven't had a cruise ship there in a number of years from what I've been told, so they probably weren't used to that flow of traffic and stuff coming in. Embarkation was very fast, very painless. They did the biometrics and facial scans and stuff, so we got through customs really quickly and all that. But the people at the port, the people working the cruise port, were grumpy and rude and seemed a little overwhelmed. And, you know, that's something that I sort of find annoying about cruising in general is everybody's so friendly on the way in, and then on the way out, they just want you gone. And, you know, the whole vibe is different. Part of that is your own kind of, you know, mentality of like you're no longer excited, you're dreading the ride home or whatever the case. But I can say without a shadow of a doubt that the cruise staff in Brooklyn on this sailing, this was the repositioning from Miami to New York, so it may have changed in the last few months since that ship has been in New York. But as far as our first time through Brooklyn, I felt like the cruise staff was pretty rude, pretty non-personable, and yeah, so that was something I noticed right away when I got off, and even when I got out into the, you know, parking lot and everything, the porters and whoever out there were just like, get out of the way, you know, move, I don't want you here, you know, that kind of vibe. And so, well, you gotta be like that, you know? But yeah. All right, enough of the negative stuff. Let's move on into the positives. There were plenty of positives. I actually, on my list for my notes, had like 10 positives, and I struggled to come up with, you know, the 3 negatives. That's why karaoke ended up on the list as sort of like a, you know, last minute, I don't know what to say. I will say I could have put overcrowded on the naughty list, but this wasn't at full capacity, and I've been on this ship when it was at full capacity over the double occupancy rate, and it was completely different. This was fine. A little bit of overcrowding in certain areas, but for the most part, it was pretty easy peasy. But yeah, for my first like, since I dinged the buffet, I have to do the opposite with the MDR. This was my favorite MDR experience of any MSC cruise I've ever been on. The wait staff was very personable. They went above and beyond. They even brought my table mate a cake for her 10th MSC cruise. I didn't get one of those on my 10th cruise recently. I was a little bummed. So yeah, they, you know, made sure to give us everything that we wanted, no questions asked. They had our drinks ready to go, knew us by name. They saw us, you know, in other areas of the ship and said hi, and, you know, all the things you expect from the MDR staff and beyond. And then the food was incredible. Some of the best I've had at sea. I always say that about MSC. If you don't like the buffet and you're not going to the MDR, try the MDR. It definitely is miles better than the buffet most of the time. World-class cuisine, talented seasoned chefs, etc. The MDR experience on the MSC Meraviglia was hands down one of the best I've ever had. For my second like, I've got to give it to entertainment. My friend Carrie was the cruise director. I've sailed with her on 3 cruises, I believe. Yeah, twice on Divino, once on Meraviglia. She's amazing. I could tell that she made the schedule as packed as possible. Hopefully she didn't spread the staff too thin. There was always something going on. Even on port days, I didn't see a lot of downtime in the schedule and stuff, and I have seen that quite a few times before on all the different cruise lines. On port days, they tend to, like, you know, hide in the shadows and do almost nothing. But I tend to stay on board a lot of the time, so, or I get back on early, and there was always something going on. And, you know, into the night, Carrie was super personable. I will say the theater shows need some work. I've seen all the shows on the MSC Meraviglia, but they had guest entertainers this cruise that were amazing. I got to do a carousel show as well. And yeah, so entertainment, 10 out of 10, 11 out of 10. Some of the best I've had, especially on MSC. And I'm hoping that's an area that they're looking to improve in even further. They've been criticized about that in the past. But they're definitely trying a lot harder to appeal to the American, you know, cruiser and consumer, etc. And it shows. And for my last like, and it's definitely my advice to you if you're a drinker, find a good bartender as soon as possible. They'll take care of you the whole cruise. I found several of them this cruise. I had bartenders giving me drinks that weren't even included in my package. I never had to wait when I walked up to any of the bars if my bartenders were there. I had bartenders at the pool bar mainly, but then even down at Infinity and in the pub, they were all happy and excited to see me. They all knew what my drink order was, and I never waited longer than a couple of minutes for a drink and was acknowledged every time I walked up. I know some people report, you know, that they feel invisible, and I've been that guy before, especially with MSC for some reason. But finding a good bartender is the best way to, you know, avoid that. And I done good this time, and obviously so did they. And then to close things out, I'll give some final thoughts. We have Callie in the background as well, so you know these are going to be the best final thoughts ever. But yeah, I've been on MSC Meraviglia multiple times. This is the cruise ship I've been on the most, and I think this was probably my best sailing on this ship. I really enjoyed it. I would also say my MSC Divina repositioning cruise was my best Divina sailing of the 3 that I had. Some people are skeptical about the repositioning cruises because it starts in one place, ends in another. There's some logistical things you have to do that are a little bit different, especially if you're local, etc. But I do recommend, these cruises tend to have longer itineraries. They go to more exclusive ports, and they're usually less crowded overall because, you know, they're longer and the logistical things I talked about. So yeah, I definitely recommend a repositioning cruise if you can swing it. And this was by far my best MSC Meraviglia cruise that I've been on of the, I think, 5, 6 times I've sailed this ship. So yeah, can recommend. I'm not sure how things are going in New York. I heard some whispers of some glitches and things, especially early on. I'm sure they're working out the kinks. I always say you can have fun no matter where you are and what you do if you allow yourself. If you absorb the negative and dwell on the negative, of course, you're not going to have a good time. But there's plenty of positive happening, plenty of fun things to do, cool people to meet, delicious drinks to drinks, and food to have, and all of that. So yeah, if you're going to be on MSC Meraviglia soon, let me know in the comments below when you're sailing, if you're excited, what ports maybe you're going to, all those things. Let's open up that discussion. I'll do my best to aid you in any questions you have or whatever the case. And, you know, other people in the comments tend to answer and help as well. So, you know, that's kind of the goal of these kinds of videos, is to, you know, let you know how it was for me and hope that you can use that to make an even better adventure for yourself. But yeah, I guess that's it. I want to thank you all so much for traveling with me. Be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, all those fun things. We'll talk soon, and y'all have a good night.